Aggressive insurance. So can Drew Brees return? Here's Sean Payton on a litany of things he still needs to see.
Functionality, strength, throwing, without soreness, there's a process. And, last week with the trainers, he had one throwing day. And yesterday, the same way. And so it's really asymptomatic, feeling good, strong, and like you can function and be an asset and play well.
All right, Key. So the conventional wisdom would be if Brees can't go, and obviously this is a huge game for New Orleans as they try to stay right behind the Packers on pace for the number one seed is Green Bay. That kind of flip-flopped this last week after the Saints had won 9 in a row. The conventional wisdom is they would go to Taysom Hill since he has been the starter since Brees essentially got hurt, at least the first full game starter, realizing Jameis came in his stead when Brees had the rib injury. But you're saying there's a simple reason you think that if Brees can't go, Jameis should be the guy.
Well, here's why I think that, though, right? I'm a receiver, first of all. So I want the ball pushed down the field. I want to be able to contribute to my team. And I don't know that Taysom Hill can do that on a consistent basis, chasing Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid on the offensive side of the ball as they score points. He certainly had a okay game in Philly. He didn't have a great game. He didn't have a bad game. He just was the quarterback. And I didn't see enough in that Philadelphia game that made me think, okay, well, they're going to be able to just drop back and throw the ball all over the lot if they get into trouble. That is my concern. I've seen Jameis Winston do that. Now, I'm not in the building. I'm not in the room. I don't know if Jameis is struggling on picking up certain things that they want to do with their offense. With Drew Brees, that style. I know Taysom Hill is not running the entire package, but he is running some things that Drew does. I think Jameis will allow them to run the same offense that they've always run. I don't know why Sean is reluctant to go with Jameis. I don't know. I'm not in the room, so I don't know if Jameis is missing some stuff and making Sean and the offensive staff feel uncomfortable. But they're 3-1 with Taysom Hill. If Drew Brees is starting in this game on Sunday, I pick Kansas City to win, but I'm going to have to pick the New Orleans Saints if Brees is in there. I've been struggling with this over the last couple of days. The closer we get, the more I feel like Drew Brees is going to take the snaps, and I'll have to switch my pick to the New Orleans Saints.
Look, I'm going to take the Chiefs no matter what, even if Brees does play his first game back. And here's why I don't think that Jameis Winston is going to play. First off, we've been on this show, and I've heard Keith talk about multiple times about Sean Payton, about how there's one coach in National Football League that you have to trust with quarterbacks that understands how quarterbacks operate and can make them function at a high level. That is Sean Payton. Sean Payton has to be seeing something within Jameis Winston that does not give him the confidence to start him over Taysom Hill, or he would have done that 4 games ago when Drew Brees first went out. He would have given him an opportunity. He even came out and said that, look, he'll have a chance to compete for a starting quarterback position here when Drew Brees retires. Now between him and Taysom Hill. Here's why Taysom Hill will start. He's 3-1 as a starter. He's thrown for 230-plus yards for 3 out of 4 games. His QB rating is over 100, 3 out of 4 games. With the exception of the Denver game where he just ran the ball for most of the game anyway, but it just feels like, I know you can ask the question, hey, well, if they get down, how can they get back into the game quickly? But it's not like Taysom Hill has been playing bad football.
No, he's not. He hasn't been playing bad football, but at the position, does he give them a true opportunity from the quarterback spot of throwing the football, like on a consistent basis? If you go back when Drew Brees got injured, they didn't go to Taysom Hill. They went to Jameis Winston. So naturally, you would think that Jameis Winston would be the starter. They elected to go with Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback, and now they're sitting at a 3-1 spot with him underneath the center, which I'm fine with. I just think that when you look and they're down and they're Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins and Kelsey, they're pushing the ball down the field and scoring points, and you are methodically moving the ball down the field because you can't get big chunks because Taysom Hill is the quarterback, and you don't feel comfortable calling some of those plays that will allow you to push the ball down the field. I just think that you would call them probably with Jameis if you felt good about him. I just don't know why Jameis I don't know. I don't know why he hasn't gotten the opportunity to be the guy in these situations. It's hard, though, when you're 3-1. You're 3-1 with a quarterback. It's hard to start Taysom Hill. If he struggles, go to Jameis Winston, because now you may all of a sudden get into the mind of Taysom Hill and make him feel that you don't trust him. Or if you decide to start Jameis Winston after going 3-1, maybe you fracture the way Taysom Hill is thinking now. Maybe I'm not a quarterback. So there's all sorts of things that coaches got to go through, Jay, when they're making these decisions on who should be the quarterback.
Yeah, but Key, Taysom Hill doesn't, and I don't know Taysom Hill, but just watching his mannerisms, watching the way he's gotten thrusted into this offense from time after time, he doesn't seem like somebody that feels like he's mentally fragile to me. Right? He seems like a pretty tough individual with the way he's played.
It's not really mentally fragile. It's just like, I got all these hopes of being a quarterback in the National Football League, and I got us at 3-1, and now all of a sudden we're going to go to Jameis Winston. Why did you do that? That's more of the thought process in the mind. Imagine you playing point guard at Duke, and then all of a sudden, Coach K, you become the Wooden Award winner your sophomore year, and then Coach K comes around going into your junior year and says, well, we want to run a 2-point guard system because I got this. And then you're going to sit there and be like, well, wait a minute, man. I just won the National College Basketball Player of the Year award, and now you have to tell me I'm getting ready to share time with somebody else? So it's just a natural reaction, I would think, from an athlete.
I love that you just compared a 3-1 record to winning a national championship and beating the Wooden Award.
You know what I'm saying, man.
See how he looks at me, Zubin? You see how he looks at me? You see?
Stop. Because the award should have went to Carlos Boozer. We all know that.
Fair enough. Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average. Call or click today and find out if we could save you hundreds on your car insurance. A couple things to mention here, a few things here. One, in a way, they've already paid Taysom Hill to be there. So in some cases, from the mental fragility standpoint, to Jay's point, I agree. He's lock, stock, and barrel because even though he's not getting quote-unquote starter money, he's not a starter. The Saints have given a financial investment to him. Also keep in mind, this year, 3 games for injured reserve. Normally it's much longer than that. But because it's the 3-game IR in the year of the coronavirus, Brees can get back a lot quicker. And Jay, by the way, operative number here at 3. When's the last time you saw the Saints as a 3-point dog in their own building? That doesn't, I know the fans and all that stuff aren't there, but that's still a rarity to see for New Orleans, huh?
Go ahead, Keith.
I was going to say, the Saints, with fans in the stands or not, at times they struggle. They lose games at home. It's not the home field advantage that you think when you look at it. They lose games at home.
We'll see if another one is on tap Sunday with the NFL's most powerful offense coming to town. Our Diana Rossini will be there in the house covering the Chiefs and the Saints for ESPN, and she joins us this morning on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. So, Diana, right before you came on, we spent the entire segment talking about Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, and Drew Brees. From your reporting, who are you thinking, or who are your sources telling you is the most likely to start out there and take the first snap on Sunday for New Orleans?
Yeah, guys, I love the conversation you've been having. I've been listening the whole time. So if you saw some of the video of Drew Brees at practice yesterday, guys, I know he was just going through warm-up, but for a man that broke over 10 ribs, he looked tremendous out there on the field working out with the guys. And, he's been cleared by doctors. And a lot of this was really going to come down to how he looked at practice. And, guys, when I was with you last week and we were talking about how the Saints organization was going to move forward, I think I pounded pretty hard that they're going to be very conservative, that they want to make sure that Drew Brees is 100%, that he's going to be ready to go come the playoffs. And then they go out there and lay an egg with Taysom Hill in Philadelphia against the Eagles. And we know what happens sometimes when your team loses. There becomes a little bit of impatience, a little bit of excitement of, we got to get our starter back here. Drew, what's going on? And, he worked out last week before the Eagles game, and sources told me that it was just an okay workout. It wasn't great. And then he worked out this week, and he's taking steps in a really positive direction. And look, Drew Brees is an amazing competitor and an amazing athlete. If it's up to him, he's playing on Sunday. If they ask Drew Brees, do you want to play? He's going to say yes. That's not breaking news. But this is going to come down to what Sean Payton wants to do if he thinks that this is the best move for a team that really needs to win. They do not want to go to Green Bay and play at Lambeau and have Green Bay get home field advantage. This is a team that is spectacular indoors, in the dome, at home in New Orleans. So the sense I'm getting, Zubin, is that Drew looks good. I think we're going to get a firmer decision later today. But the fact that this Chiefs team has no idea who their quarterback is going to be on a Friday, I think is also going to make this a really interesting element headed into Sunday.
Let's assume that, Diana, I know you've been covering the Saints for a while, and you're dialed in New Orleans, but let's assume that Drew Brees can't go. He gets a setback of some sort. Taysom Hill is the starter. Will Sean be reluctant to go? Sean Payton, the head coach, obviously, of the New Orleans Saints, would he be reluctant to go to Jameis Winston early if, in fact, Taysom Hill struggles?
So let's start off big picture. Whenever you and I talk about Taysom Hill and Sean Payton's relationship, we always talk about how it's kind of like the relationship we all want. They're so loyal to each other. Taysom wants to be the backup this year.